It's not often life is forced to a halt, forced to slow down on command, brought to a screeching stop. It's not often the noise is called to a whisper and the bustle reined in. Stay home, they say. Stay safe. Stay in. The streets are fogged with quiet. Once busy roads are like a ghost town. Every human being walking, staying 6 feet distanced. It's a tragedy to the mind and the soul. A break in the system, burdened busy bodies we're used to. The torture of the routine we used to groan to lift ourselves up to is now the exact routine we crave. In these four walls, caught in my front yard, I've been forced to be ever more in touch with myself. And all the places I shut out through meaningless productivity have flourished like vines from their cages, taking up spaces where I told them not to go. It's scary, yet beautiful, to be in tune again with home. With the music deep in my spirit, with the slow pace of my heartbeat pulsing, a reminder of the life in me that I don't enjoy enough, the bittersweet cup of living.
The world has reached another grim milestone in the history of the coronavirus
pandemic is showing no signs of slowing down.
Their point is the cure can't be worse than the illness itself.
Yeah.
What is your response to them?
The illness is death. What is worse than death?
Well, what if somebody commits suicide because they can't pay their bills?
Yeah, but the illness is maybe my death as opposed to your death.
That's the Hutchinson River that leads out into the Long Island Sound. And you can see the drawbridge every once in a while go up, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if you can see it from here. Cool thing is, in the summertime, when they have 4th of July, you can see fireworks from this window. You don't even have to leave. People on the street don't ask you. They don't ask you for your intimate feelings. Most of the time, people don't want to know what happened to your arm. They don't want to hear the whole, spiel coming out. And you know what? And you don't want to tell them, because then you'll be crying on every street corner. Because this is not something people want to know. And this is not something you want to tell, because I haven't talked about this. Even to the closest people in my life, I haven't talked about this. About the after effects, the effects during is horrific. You would just hope that the memory has some healing power, that you don't have to remember it. The anxiety, the PTSD, the whole shit. And with this, they don't want to know. Even the closest people don't want to really know. It's scary. It's scary to them. It's looking at death and knowing what it looks like.
Those kids have polio? I didn't know. I was in the way. Sorry. Okay. I'd have really clean hands.
The virus activates the immune system. All viruses activate the immune system. They're an intruder. So they get into your body and your body sends off the alarm. Intruder, right? So all of your cells go to attack it. And then that normal things that happen in your body, like normal blood clotting, meaning, oh, I got a cut, it'll clot. But I didn't have a cut, so it shouldn't clot. That went off. So in some people, it was that their immune system fought this virus so hard that it started fighting itself. It started actually attacking lung instead of attacking the virus. It started actually causing the blood to clot in a way that wasn't even about the virus. It was an over response, a really amped up response, and that's.
My daughter's 27. One thing about COVID, surviving it, I got to see her get married in October. Small affair, but I thought I'd never see that. She got married on Halloween, I thought. And she's the reason I saw it. My daughter called emergency and told me they will break down the door if you don't open it. And I was coughing to the point of I couldn't talk in that bedroom. And I was dragged out of here on the guard, but I was too weak to even fight him. I finally gave in, but I didn't want to go. My daughter was the reason I went. She saved my life. She was the main reason that I'm here. You know, kids aren't supposed to save your life, you know. So, it's tough. You know, if one person wears a mask because of what I said here today, then the job is done. If people social distance because of what I've said today, then the job is done. Because, no, fellas, this is real. This is real. You can't make this shit up.
Illnesses may be my death as opposed to your death. You said, they said, the cure is worse than the illness. The illness is death. How can the cure...
A lot of people, or some people in the world, don't believe that this COVID is actually real, this pandemic. But if you look at our logbook, the names never end. This is just what we did during COVID. It has every decedent that came here, where they were logged in our trailer, in our emergency trailer, okay? Just look at the names. They just never, ever end. Look how many names. There's probably 35 names on a page, and they just keep going and going. This is our refrigerator at Hebrew Free Burial. It holds approximately 10 people. In the back you can see that is a patient who has COVID, one of our COVID cases, covered with the sheet. It wasn't sufficient during the pandemic, so that's why we moved to the trailer. We use both this and the trailer. We get the body up through donations, through people who give charity, and we give them the same funeral that everyone else has here. A rabbi, a minyan, Kaddish is said every day. Okay, so it doesn't matter who you are or what you are, everyone is treated the same at Hebrew Free Burial.
During COVID, we all came in and we started, everything was with PPE to make sure everybody was safe. And no one took any chances of anything. First thing we did was we unwrapped these suits. As you can see, they're all one piece. Put it on.
So we're very fortunate and actually blessed to have a cadre of volunteers who attend burials when there's no family or friends to attend the burial. At a Jewish funeral, at a Jewish burial, there's a special prayer that's said. It's called the Kaddish. Kaddish is a prayer that's associated with mourners, and there are various versions of it. Some of them are incorporated into daily services, but there's a very special Kaddish that is recited only at the time of burial. And you need a quorum traditionally of men at the burial to be able to have this prayer recited. And we have this cadre of volunteers from the Staten Island and sometimes New Jersey area who come sometimes on a daily basis and attend funerals of people who they don't know. And they listen to the eulogy because our rabbi always gives a eulogy even when we know almost nothing about a person. And And that's actually the case with the burial we're doing today. We know very, very little about this man who died of COVID. And they're here to be a witness to the very end of his time on earth.
Well, we're here in Lake City, Florida. This is Columbia County. We're here at the courthouse here, where if anything happens, it's right here. KKK rallies, Black Matter Alive rallies, anything, mostly gonna be right here. You know, well, I work for a transport company, you know, so I work with veterans, and when it hit, I mean, a lot of people wasn't really taking it serious, you know, but we did necessary steps of gloving up, mask, sanitizer, but it happens, you know, it happens. You know, you can't be too careful because that's when you're definitely gonna get it. You know, and for me, I just happened to be at work one day and I just brought a guy here and I just wasn't feeling good, you know, so I asked my boss, can I go home? And he said it was okay. As I got home, I started feeling a little worse. You know, so I went to the hospital, called my wife, said I'm going to the hospital. And got to the hospital, they checked me out, did a test, and let me go. And 3 days later, they called me and told me I was positive for COVID. And my heart just dropped, you know, because I knew I have underlying conditions. When you have COVID, they incubate you and put you in a specialty bed, which turns you over on your stomach for 12 hours a day. So my thing is, they say when you turned over like that for so long, all your fluids come out. And as my fluids come out, my tongue came out. So I'm thinking people wasn't paying attention, you know, because that tongue didn't come out all by itself at one time. You know, it had to come out slowly, you know. So that's when it went down. For me, I didn't know it was out until I woke up. So I kind of tried to build my strength up to get my phone to call my family. And I got a hold of them and FaceTime them. When I FaceTime them, that was the first time I'm seeing my tongue out my mouth. The doctor and the nurses told me it was just swollen. You know, never mentioned it came out my mouth. That was a horrible experience. I mean, for my tongue to be sticking out 3 inches, not being able to put food in my mouth, and then with the tongue, it was heavy. It kind of kept my head leaning down, you know. And I always want to pull it up, but it always goes down because they had to wrap it. And it's already heavy, now you're putting wrap on it, so it's a little bit more heavy. And then with it being so heavy, it sat on my bottom teeth, and it sat there too long, it made them real loose, so they had to pull them. And now that gives me a little problem speaking because of the teeth missing.
Any additional support?
Thank you, Miss Reed. Fine, how are you?
I'm fine.
This looks lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Great.
I'm Dr. Lewis. I'm excited to be joined by Donna Moore here at Park Springs. And what's so amazing is the story that you all have brought to us today. It really focuses on relationships. You all achieved such success at keeping COVID out, I think is something that so many places can learn from.
Phase. We have had one death from COVID. One death from COVID. It is amazing.
Many people assert the individual over the collective. It's not my job to wear a mask. I'm not obligated to socially distance. I don't want to have to be responsible for others. What do you all say in terms of your philosophy of being much more inclusive and thinking about your members essentially as family?
Personal responsibility. I wear a mask to protect you. And so our care partners wear a mask to protect our members, because our care partners understand that they are out in the world. Even when you age, you still have memories, you still have feelings, you still have wisdom, and that to us is worth protecting and guarding and ensuring the safety.